NFC Championship game prediction, Commanders at Eagles. Commanders have not been here in 33 years. The Eagles are favored by 6. They're in Philly. Also an over-under of 47.5. Take off on it, Marcus. Give me some takeaways, predictions, and how do you see the final score playing out?
I do think the Eagles are going to win this game, and I think when they win this game, the Commanders will have one person to blame, and it's their defensive coordinator, Bobby Witt Jr. Not Bobby Witt. But his name is Bob Witt or something like that, who said that he fully intends on embarrassing Jalen Hurts and having his defense.
I think he was the D-line coordinator.
D-line coordinator. Like don't
Joe Witt.
Joe Witt. There it is. Don't you know what it was? I was staring at your Braves pennant back there while you were talking at the end there, and it just made me think about football or baseball. But I think we're going to win this game. And I just want to say, so the other day, and you saw it, you interacted with it. The other day, I think I posted a reel on Instagram, and I said that Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson. I gave off a bunch of reasons, and there's been a lot of people who have not taken too kindly to that take, which it's fine. It's not a popular one, but there's a lot of people also who just don't.
Very well said.
Jalen Hurts.
It's very well supported as well. Jalen Hurts is a winner.
I appreciate that.
He is a playoff winner.
Jalen Hurts is a winner. He's a playoff winner. He does not turn the football over. The last time he turned the football over was 6 games ago. The only guy, there's one guy in the NFL right now who has as many consecutive games without a turnover in the playoffs. It's Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason why he's been to 7 straight AFC Championship games.
Exactly.
This game's going to boil down to a couple things. Last week, I said that the Rams had a chance to win this game if they could stop Saquon Barkley, because the first time they played Saquon Barkley, he went off for, I believe it was 26 carries, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns. He went off against them last week for 20-something carries, 250 yards, just shy of that, 2 touchdowns. The last time we saw Saquon Barkley play the Washington Commanders in a game that the Commanders would have lost if Devontae Smith didn't drop that pass at the end there, he had 20-something carries for almost 250 yards, if not 250 yards on the dot, and 2 touchdowns. The Washington Commanders cannot let Saquon Barkley go off. Now,
that's right.
I'm not saying that to say make Jalen Hurts beat you.
Right.
Because Jalen Hurts can beat you. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, though, is if the plan going in is we're going to minimize Jalen Hurts, that's what got you almost an L in the first place. We also have to remember the last time these two teams faced each other, Jalen Hurts played 3 snaps and was done. So if we go back to the last time Jalen Hurts played this football team, the Eagles won. Now, I look at this Commanders team and I say this: they're playing with house money. They're not supposed to be here. It has been an exceptional season from Jayden Daniels. It's been an exceptional season from Dan Quinn, who I think should be the coach of the year this season. We've seen guys like Olamide Zaccheaus, and we've seen De'Ami Brown, and we've seen Noah Brown, and we've seen all these guys step up and be heroes for this football team at some point in time over the last 2.5, 3 months to get them to this point. The Commanders have to play perfect football if they want to win this game. You're going up against the best defense in football, the best offensive line in football, the best running back in football, the best 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position, and in my opinion, at worst, the 3rd best quarterback in football. So this is what you're going up against. And by the way, you're going up 95 to Philly, and the fans aren't going to be too kind to see you in Philly. So do I think the Commanders can win this game? Yes. And it's not for the cliches because it's a divisional game or because any given Sunday. It's because they are that good. We have seen them get to this point. And we know that Jayden Daniels has proven that all they need is to have the ball on the last play of the game. That's all they've needed 5 or 6 times this season. But when I look at the Eagles, I think, number 1, the Eagles are disrespected. I think, number 2, the Eagles are trying to prove a point. And I think, number 3, and most importantly, they know that on the other side of this NFC Championship game is a possibility for one of 2 things. A chance to get their get back against the Chiefs from 2 years ago.
That's right.
It's a chance for Jalen Hurts to maybe inch himself not just into being at worst the 3rd best quarterback in football, but to inch himself a little bit closer. Maybe we need to start having some conversation about whether or not Jalen Hurts is better than Josh Allen. Those are the 3 things on the line in this game. I think the Eagles are the better team. I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I do think this is going to be a fireworks show, to steal your phrase. I like this game being a high-scoring game. Because I do think at the end of the day, despite how great this defense is from Philly, I think the Commanders are going to find a way to find themselves in the end zone at least 3 times as well. But I'm going to take this one. I'm going to say the Philly's going to win this game. It's going to be 28-21. And I think the Eagles and the Bills are going to be this year's Super Bowl matchup. I think that's
the world's going to go crazy.
I think that's the one that's most intriguing. I think that's the matchup that's the most intriguing. I think that's the matchup that'll be the most even as well. It'll be the most interesting to watch, not just as fans because we won't be seeing the Chiefs, but also matchup wise for the football purists like the John Gruden's out there. That matchup is a really, really interesting one. I think Zach Bond is going to have an absolute great game. He has had a great year this year, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. We're going to talk about that in a second. And I expect that secondary to be just as good as it's been all season. That secondary is going to be phenomenal, I think, in this game. The last thing I'll say, too, is defensively the key for this team, make Jayden Daniels throw the ball to anybody not named Terry McLaurin. Make Olamide Zaccheaus beat you. Make Diami Brown beat you. If Terry McLaurin's having a quiet game, if you're not hearing Terry McLaurin's name a lot in this game, that spells we're on the road to victory. Not to be funny, we're on the road to victory in Philly. I fully expect the Eagles to win this game. It's been a great run for the Commanders. A loss in this game is nothing to hang their head down. I know obviously you get this far. The goal is to get to and potentially win a Super Bowl. But if you're the Commanders or a Commanders fan, there's a lot to love about this season. But I think the buck stops here. I do think the Eagles win this game.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to be victorious as well. I'll come off the top and say I think they're going to win 27-24. You say 28-21. So we kind of see similar things here, no doubt. Of course, they split their divisional matchups. The home team did win each time. Eagles won 25-16 first, and the Commanders won 35-33 the second time around. I completely forgot that Kenny Pickett actually was the quarterback there, was still able to put up 33 points with them. And that really showed the resiliency of this Eagles team. And I think they're going to continue to show that as this game goes on. Them being in Philly is such an advantage for them. An absolute advantage. And it's not that, people in DC are not used to the cold or not traveling because they are, but Lincoln Financial Field is a different beast. It's like how we used to talk about Mercedes-Benz Superdome for New Orleans before it was renamed Caesars. Obviously, Peyton and Breeze are out, so it's definitely a lot different now. But Lincoln Financial has never lost that swagger, ever. And it's one of the hardest places to play in the league. It was very hard last week for the Rams to play there. Obviously, in the snow, clearly they were still able to lead almost a comeback victory. Crazy enough, Matthew Stafford was just driving down the field. I didn't know what to think after that Puka Nacua catch. And then now you're going to have Jayden Daniels. Can he weather that storm? Literally, figuratively. Can Jayden Daniels get through that? Can Cliff and Jayden versus you say the the best defense in the NFL? I would come out and say, at least top two and arguably not two. When you look at Vic Fangio, we're going to talk about him later in the NFL awards. Howie Roseman, take a freaking bow. You hire Vic Fangio off the ignorance of the Dolphins letting him go, which I absolutely was mind blown about that last year because Vic did great things with Miami. And to know that they mutually parted, but you still keep a guy like Mike McDaniel in the building, Vic Fangio is the best defensive coordinator in football next to Steve Spagnuolo. And it's not even close. It's not particularly close. When you have two rookies in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in the defensive rookie of the year conversation, come on. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. Vic Fangio is an absolute monster, and Philly should open the checkbook and hand it to him because this defense will stay this elite no matter who is there on the roster because Vic knows his players, and I think Vic is completely picking up on Cliff's game plan and Jayden's. This is the biggest test, bigger than the Lions. Yes, I'll come out and say it. This is a bigger test than the Lions because it was clear the Lions could not keep up early on. Aaron Glenn kind of taking a page out of Dennis Allen's playbook, not able to keep up with mobile quarterbacks. I think Vic Fangio is going to be all over that. They are up against the best linebacker in the NFL in Zach Bond, the best defensive pass rush between, imagine if Nakobe Dean was playing with Nolan Smith, with Jordan Davis, with Jalen Carter, with Josh Sweat. I mean, absolutely disgusting. Imagine if Brandon Graham was still around.
Dude.
I'm trying to think of who was help me out here, Marcus. Who was that defensive lineman for Philly?
Fletcher Cox?
Brandon Graham? Yes, Fletcher Cox. I'm so sorry to be ignorant. Did he retire? Did he get hurt?
I think he retired.
I'm going to look it up real quick. I'm sure we're going to get roasted in the comments for that, but I honestly can't remember. Yep, he played for 12 seasons. So just imagine if a guy like Fletcher Cox was still here and they knew that they had to replace him, right? I mean, they are so elite. Howie Roseman is the best GM in football. He makes it so easy. He doesn't try to outthink the room. He takes the tape. He trusts his scouts. He trusts his staff, and he makes great decisions.
Yeah.
Look at the Saquon Barkley move. Look at the fact that he's trusted Jalen Hurts as much as he has. This is going to be a battle of very good quarterbacks. Yes, I am calling both of these quarterbacks very good, not only as a rookie for Jayden, but obviously as a veteran for Jalen Hurts. I can't necessarily put Jalen on the elite level just yet, but he's scraping up on it. He's a winner, which is what matters the most. Jayden Daniels playing with house money. He shouldn't be. I mean, we knew that he could be this good, and I argued last season that he should have been the number 1 overall pick over Caleb because Jayden is very special. Most rushing attempts ever by a rookie quarterback. I want to say most rushing yards ever by a rookie quarterback as well, if not very close to it. Jayden is amazing, and the Commanders have a franchise quarterback in him. I think both of these offenses clearly have to be explosive early and often, and I think we're going to see that. Saquon Barkley has to be contained. You have to make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm, which he clearly can. But if Saquon's running for over 200 in this, go ahead and chalk it up. Go ahead and give the dub to Philly in Lincoln Financial Field because Saquon Barkley, again, is the best running back in the league. And it could be close with Derrick Henry, but at certain times, it doesn't feel particularly close. I mean, now, given the Rams defense is what it is, but they gave up 4 60-plus yard rushing touchdowns to Saquon in the 2 meetings against him this year. 500 of Saquon's 2006, I believe, rushing yards came against the Rams. Now, you can spin that however you want, but the Commanders have to be able to pick up on that because it will be a long day. It will be a very grueling 60 minutes of football. Now, sure. I think the Commanders have the defense to be able to keep up with it, but Saquon might have something different to say about that. I'm going to give the coaching nod here to Nick Sirianni. He's been in this position before. He has been to a Super Bowl before. People were calling for his job in the middle of the year. And I agree with you, Marcus. The Eagles are so freaking disrespected, specifically Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
People forget how great Jalen Hurts was in 22 and 23 and even 2021, if I'm remembering his years correctly. You mentioned in the comments on Instagram a couple days ago, are we forgetting the fact that he threw for 3,700 yards and 3,800 yards in back-to-back seasons, didn't have a ton of turnovers? People want to harbor the fact of them kind of falling off after they beat the Bills last year, which I even thought that they could have been Super Bowl bound then. But it was becoming very hard to make Jalen Hurts' turnovers inexcusable. And he's fixed that. It's remarkable to know that the last 6 playoff games, no turnovers. The only other one like that is Patrick Mahomes, and he's competing for a three-peat, which has never been done before. Again, the Commanders have to be able to outmatch that home field advantage of Philly because it's going to be huge. Like I said, Eagles win this one 27-20. Guys, you get in the comments in the chat. Let us know how you feel about the AFC and NFC championship games playing out. This is one of the best championship weekends I think we've seen in a while.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.